Shalom, Yashala. I'm gonna start this lesson by giving all praise, all glory, all honor, all blessing, all truth, all wisdom belong to our power, Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahushai, by Hashem Kodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of great millstone that teach us will well and will well to the Kodash, and salutation to you, Akim, that's in highways and byways doing this work in truth and sincerity. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Today's lesson is about the famine of the world is closing in. Australia, draconian anti-Semitism law that they passed, okay, is about to do uh it's about to spread throughout the four corners of the earth as those the media machine of those small hatters, the so-called Jewish men, right? Okay, the 1948ers are spreading those message, okay, to take people First Amendment rights throughout the four corners of the earth, right? A right of free speech, right? And then and you see Australia is breaking down their own constitutional right that they have, okay, about free speech, and this thing's being watered down and closing in on them, and this thing gonna come to Babylon, aka America, okay. That's exactly what we see, okay. And when you see those things happen in Australia, it cause a like a chain event in throughout the four corners of the earth, right? It's like an earthquake happening in every corner of the earth with the law they're passing. And as you can see, that law that passed in Australia is gonna be in the UK. You're gonna be in probably gonna be in Nigeria. You're gonna be all over the places, man. Okay, especially the Western world. Okay, and those things gonna speak loudly. Okay, especially those of the prophet that's in highways and byways teaching this word. They're gonna try to take this word out of the world right now. Okay, and that they're gonna make that the truth to fail in the streets. Okay, and let's get. I got a video. I got a article. This from the Guardians, right? Al- Albanese announced, this is the Prime Minister of Australia. Australia Prime Minister announced no laws to combat hate speech after Bundy shooting. It shouldn't say anti-Semitism speech, okay? A speech, not hate speech, okay? That's what they say, okay? So they can put more restriction onto people, okay? Albanese announced, Albanese announced no hate speech laws as it conceded more could have been done before Bundy beach attack. Okay, hate speech law will be expanded to directly target hate preachers. Hey, you see, hate preachers who I call this thing in Babylon. Uh, they call the Israelites hate preachers. They call it extremists. Okay, they say we're teaching hate, and there no push to stamp out anti-Semitism, has Anthony Albanese conceded more could have been done to combat anti-Jewish sentiments ahead of the Bundy Beach massacre. The Home Affairs Minister will also be granted powers to cancel and reject visa of people who spread hate and division under a five-point plan announced on Thursday after days of intensifying pressure on the Prime Minister to do more to address anti-Semitism and radicalization after Sunday terrorist attack and a Hanukkah celebration. Okay, if they can revoke your passport, your visa, okay, or reject your visa, what should they gonna come next? They can cancel your citizenship, okay? Especially if your forefathers, let's say you're born in Babylon or now in Australia, and your forefathers came from somewhere else, they can deport you somewhere else, okay? Because it's in the power of their hand for them to do that, right? It came as mourners gathered by Sydney, okay, for the funeral of 10-year-old Matilda, the youngest of the 15 victims, right? Look, of course, more could have been always been done. Government aren't perfect. I'm not perfect, Albani said, responding to Albani's admission. The opposition leader Susan Ley said more should have been done to combat anti-Semitism in Australia in the aftermath of a Hamas attack on Israel on 7 October 7 and 7 October 2023. As she unveiled her own plan, the coalition plan includes terminating or blocking funding to arts or research projects that support anti-Semitic activities, reviving the idea of stripping citizens from dual citizens. Look at that! Who engage in terrorist activities, imposing the issue of visa to any person from a terrorist enclave, including Gaza. You see, if you have a citizenship to Australia and you speak about, I can't even read that part. Look at that. Okay, that's just Esau Edom, stretching his power. Okay, showing you that citizenship mean nothing, constitutional law mean nothing. Okay, it's nothing but to fill their belly. That's all that matters to those people, right? And let's look at the video and let's let the man speak, right? This is Anthony Albanese, Prime Minister of Australia. Let's play that video.
To combat this evil scourge, much more. As Special Envoy to combat anti-Semitism, Gillian Siegel has delivered a report that sets out further steps we can take. The Australian Government adopts and fully supports the plan to combat anti-Semitism. We'll continue to work through the implementation of the 13 recommendations in consultation with the Jewish community and the Envoy. And of course, the first recommendation was the adoption of the IRA definition of anti-Semitism that the government adopted. Today, I'm announcing a significant number of additional actions to build on the plan. Firstly, the Attorney-General and Minister for Home Affairs will develop a package of legislative reforms to crack down on those who spread hate through the...
They're going to add to it. I mean, they already got this thing in plan, okay? They already got those paperwork in plan. They just were going to call, and those things that happened, that attack was a false flag attack, okay? Let's say that attack was real, okay? It's still, okay, them doing it in the pretense, okay, to bring the New World Order, okay, to create a worldwide prison, okay, and take away freedom of speech out here, okay. You know, one of the first thing I did was a freedom to carry, okay, guns, okay. They take that away. They take the gun away from the citizens, okay. How do those attackers get all those guns, man? Ask yourself these questions, man. Okay? Let's keep playing.
The implementation of the 13 recommendations in consultation with the Jewish community and the Envoy. And of course, the first recommendation was the adoption of the IRA definition of anti-Semitism that the government adopted. Today, I'm announcing a significant number of additional actions to build on the plan. Firstly, the Attorney-General and Minister for Home Affairs will develop a package of legislative reforms to crack down on those who spread hate, division and radicalisation. The National Security Committee has agreed that changes will include the following 5 points. Agreed changes will include 1. Aggravated hate speech offence for preachers and leaders who promote violence. Secondly, increased penalties for hate speech promoting violence. Thirdly, making hate an aggravating factor in sentencing crimes for online threats and harassment. Fourthly, developing a regime for listing organisations whose leaders engage in hate speech promoting violence or racial hatred. And fifthly, developing a narrow federal offence for serious vilification based on race and or advocating racial supremacy. The Minister for Home Affairs will also have new powers to cancel or reject visas for those who spread hate and division in this country or would do so if they were allowed to come here. David Gonski has agreed to lead a 12-month task force which will include the envoy to ensure the Australian education system prevents, tackles and properly responds to anti-Semitism. I, of course, acknowledge that more could have been done, and I accept my responsibility for the part in that as Prime Minister of Australia. But what I also do is accept my responsibility to lead the nation and unite the nation, because what people are looking for at this time isn't more division. They are looking to come together.
As you can see, this man say what he gotta say. They're gonna put 3-4 plans, okay, together. About the law they're gonna pass in Australia, and you think that's that's not gonna cause a chain reaction? That's what I was looking for, a chain reaction in other Western countries, okay, not just Western countries, other countries in the Caribbean and Australia and Europe and Asia, okay, Europe is Asia too, okay, and Africa, and all those things, man, that's going on here. Those laws are gonna be passed, okay, and they're gonna pass those laws, okay, according to those elite of this world. And but that is the work of Yahweh power by Hashem Yahushai, because the famine of the world must come. And let's play that video too for a little bit, okay? This from Australia attack. PM Albanese said, right?
Australia has announced a sweeping crackdown on hate speech in the wake of the deadly terror attack at Sydney's Bondi Beach. At least 15 people were killed, and more than a dozen others remain in the hospital. The Prime Minister vowing to eradicate extremism as the nation continues to mourn the lives lost in the deadliest mass shooting in nearly 3 decades.
Australia is set to see a new package of reforms aimed at those who promote hatred and violence. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese under pressure to prioritise measures to tackle anti-Semitism and extremism.
It is clear we need to do more to combat this evil scourge, much more.
The changes include a new aggravated offence for leaders who incite violence, tougher penalties for violent hate speech, and harsher sentencing for online threats and harassment.
Okay, now they're gonna put a broad brush on the hate speech, right? If you say something they don't like, if you tell them they're not the real Jews, that would be hate speech, okay? They're gonna call it violent hate speech out here, or aggravating a speech, making hate and aggravating facing.
The government will also list groups whose leaders spread hate, introduce a federal offence for serious racial vilification.
Organization whose leader engage in hate speech. Okay, we already got this thing already. Okay, the Hebrew Israelite. That's why they say the Hebrew Israelite spread hate speech out there, right? Federal offense for serious racial vilification. Again, they got a broad brush on those words. Okay. So if you tell the truth, I say, oh, this group of people did this, they can call it hate speech, and you can be put in jail for that. Okay? And let's get the scriptures, man, okay? Let's go to Matthew 10, verse 21. And the brother shall deliver up the brother to death, and the father the child, and the children shall be rise up against their parents, and cause them to put to death out here. The sin that's coming to four corners of the earth is that your own mother, your own father, your own sisters, mothers, okay, can give you up to the government to accuse you of hate speech out here, okay? Next thing you know, you're gonna be in jail. One thing you know, you're gonna be put to death out here. Verse 22, and he shall be hated of all men for my name's sake. And if you're teaching Yahushua, this is Yahushua speaking right here. If you're teaching Yahushua, teaching Yahweh, why Yahushua Mashiach gonna come down and put the end to those people, and put the end to Esau, Edom, to so-called women rulership. Okay, hey, they can deem it anti-Semitism, right? They can it anti-Western civilization. They can call it it's a hate speech out here, because they're gonna have a broad brush on that. Okay, if they don't like something that you said, they can kill violent hate speech. They can call it whatever they want it to. Okay, vilification, they want it, hate speech, vilification, whatever they want to call it. because they got Esau got all kind of interpretation for words out there. Okay, it's like actually 10 verse 22, and he shall be hated of all men for my name's sake, but he that endure unto the end shall be saved. You see, hate speech preachers and who in the highways and byways that's teaching the true word of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua. They don't start calling us hate speech preachers, man. Okay, and a lot of us gonna be uh, sent to jail for that, man. And we're gonna be hated for the word of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua. Okay, and let's go to a Revelation 2. Revelation 2 verse 10. Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall come some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. And be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. As you can see, right? The thing is about this truth, okay? Hey, you can be about especially those that teach the word of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua, those that post about the thing that's going on in this world right now, that post about this truth, and those that watch those videos, right? They can be dragged to jail out there, okay? They try to be thrown in prison out here, okay? Jail and prison at the same thing. Prison, you're gonna spend a lot of times out here for 10 days. I mean, a complete number of time you're gonna be in prison, okay? Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. If you be faithful unto death about these things, man, you don't renegade the truth. Hey, you don't go back into the truth and like because you're scared. Hey, a crown of life is waiting for you. Okay, and that's exactly what's coming. Okay, a lot of men that's teaching this word gonna be thrown in prison out here. Okay, and you got brothers in Australia too teaching this word in the highways and byways, and they're gonna start with those brothers, man. Okay, and I pray that the Most High protect those brothers, man, that's in the highways and byways, and have mercy upon them, man. But we know the work that we do, we know what's coming. We know prison is they're gonna put us in prison. Some of us gonna be put to death out there, and we have to be ready for that, man. Okay. And then now, as you can see, they're passing law for those things. Okay, let's go to Psalm 94, verse 20. Shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which faith mischief by a law? And that's when you know those people are hypocrites, man. Okay, they have done all those things to the brown indigenous people of Australia. Not one law is passed for those people to protect those people, man. And now you see, you got those people that come in the streets and crying. Well, tell them what they're gonna do about it. That's what they're crying about, okay? And now they're creating mischief by a law to come against their own citizen, okay? But especially the brothers the elders, the apostles, man, the prophet that teach in the highways and byways, they're gonna come against us, man. And those Akam and Akwaf that believe in this truth, they're gonna come out against us, man. Those of us that keep the law and statutes and command of Yahweh power by Hashem Yahushua to the best of your ability, they're gonna come against us, man. They guard themselves together against the soul of the righteous and condemn the innocent blood, okay? And that's exactly what they're gonna do. They put those laws so they can guard it themselves against the soul of the righteous. They ain't doing this thing just to do it. They know exactly who the target is, and the target is Jacob. Verse 22, but Yahweh power is my defense, and my God is the work of my refuge, and he shall bring upon them their own iniquity, and he shall cut them off in their own wickedness. Yea, the Lord Yahweh power by Hashem Yahushai shall cut them off, and the Most High gonna destroy them, man. Because the Most High know those kind of things that happen, they say that happen, is a lot. Most of the time, is a bunch of false flag, okay? And a lot of time they orchestrate those events, okay, and use their media propaganda, okay, to put it up there on the mass, man, on the people, okay. And the mass is a bunch of dead chicken head walking around, don't ask any questions out here and believe anything that the media tell them, man. and the media is controlled by the so-called Jewish men, okay? Those Amalekite, the true name of, according to the Bible, is Amalek, okay? Those Amalekite, okay? That's exactly who they are, man, okay? And let's go to Isaiah. Isaiah 10, verse 2. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decree, that white grievousness which they have prescribed, to turn aside the needy from judgment, and to take away the wife from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless. What will ye do in the day of visitation, and the desolation which shall come from far? To whom will ye flee for help? And where should you leave your glory? Again, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decree. This is a bunch of unrighteous decree they decree, okay? They got the power to do whatever they want, but they have to put it in a way to pass laws, to pass executive orders to come against their own people, especially uh, 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 against the poor of our people, okay? Because the men that's in highways and byways, we poor, we got no power in this society we live in. They cannot come against us. Those hate preachers that they speak about, the prophet of dooms, they're gonna come against us. Okay? But it's okay. Okay, let's go to Habakkuk, man. Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 9. Woe to him that covet an evil covetousness to his house, that he may set his nest on high, that he may be delivered from the power of evil. This man no evil is coming upon them for all those evil they have done upon this earth. Okay, so they're gonna set themselves up high. Okay, they act like they're high and mighty out here. Okay, that they have done nothing wrong, so they don't deserve no punishment out here. Okay, that they've been unjustly targeted. Okay, and they put all those laws in place just to protect themselves from the coming evil that's coming upon them, right? Verse 10. Though I've consulted shame to thy house by cutting off many people, and I have sinned against thy soul. And this we have done nothing but commit iniquities against many people, man, okay? By destroying many people and kill many people, man, okay? For the stone shall cry out of the wall, and the beam out of the temple shall answer it. That's exactly what is going on, right? The earth is crying out. The people of the earth is crying out here, man. The people that the stone, the people that got no understanding in seeing those things, man, they even crying out. Verse 12, woe to him that built a town with blood and established a city by iniquity. That's exactly what we see in the land of Israel right now, okay? They built a town with blood. They didn't go in this town and get it fair and square. No, they do a lot of killing out here to get it, man. Okay, verse 13. Behold, it is not of Yahweh power of hosts that the people shall labor in the very fire, and the people shall be weary themselves for very vanity. Okay, and verse 14. For the earth shall be filled with the knowledge of the glory of Yahweh power, as the waters cover the sea. Okay, that's exactly what's going on. And the earth shall be filled with the knowledge of the Most High. Now the earth is filled right now with the knowledge of the Most High, Yahweh power by Hashem Yahushua. That's those people that call themselves Jews are not Jews, man. Okay, they are the synagogue of Satan out here, the chief house of Satan out here. And you so-called black, Latinos, and Americans, you are the real Israelites, according to the word of Yahweh power by Hashem Yahushua. Okay, let's go to Amos, man. Amos chapter 8, verse 11. Amos chapter 8, verse 11. Behold, the days come, said Yahweh power, that will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, or the thirst of for water, but of hearing the word of Yahweh power by Hashem Yahushua. Hey, they're gonna take the prophets out of the highways and byways, man. Okay? They're gonna shut down our channels, YouTube channels. Somebody's got videos on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. They're gonna shut down all those downs, man. Okay, and they shall wander from sea to sea. Okay, and from the north and even to the east, they shall run to and fro to seek the word of Yahweh power and shall not find it. There's people not gonna come looking for this truth. Okay, because they know at a certain time we're telling the truth out here. We're always telling the truth. Some of them gonna listen. Some of them that listen, they're gonna still looking for those brothers that's in highways and byways, man. And those, especially those that didn't listen, they're not gonna find this truth, man. Okay, and that day shall the fair virgins and young men faint for thirst. Okay, men and women gonna be looking for this truth, and they're gonna faint for thirst out here because the Messiah gonna take this truth away, man. That's gonna put his hand on our mouth. Okay, they're gonna make our tongue to cleave and our mouth out here, and know what's gonna come out because this is the will of Yahweh power by Hashem Yahushai at the end of the day, man. Okay, uh, and let's go to Amos, man, 5. Amos chapter 5, verse 10. They hate him that rebuke in the gate, and they abhor him that speak it uprightly. For as much therefore as your treading is for the poor, is upon the poor, and ye take from burdens of wheat. Okay? See, they hate him that rebuke in the gates. You see, they hate the people that rebuke in the gate. That's why they call it hate preachers out here. Okay? They intended to target the Hebrew Israelites because we are the number one target of Esau Edom, the so-called white men, especially those Amalekites that call themselves Jewish. Okay, they know who they are. Okay, they are the biblically Amalekite. They're not the real Jews. They're a bunch of imposters, man. Okay, let's read that again. Amos chapter 5, verse 10. They hate him that rebuke in the gate, and they abhor him that speak it uprightly. At the end of the day, they hate him or that rebuke in the gates, man. Okay, let's get the last scripture real quick. Let's go to Isaiah 29, verse 20. Isaiah 29, verse 20. For the terrible one is brought to naught, and the scorner is consumed. All that watch for iniquity are cut off, and that's this is what it's doing, man. They're watching for iniquity. That's why they got those laws. They think those laws that they pass gonna supersede the law of Yahweh power by Hashem Yahushai, and they watch you when they try to make you fall, so they can say, "See, this guy keep talking. We got the laws against anti-Semitism, but they're still talking about it. They're still making videos. They're still in the houses and barrels. We have to. That's why they're the one that make the world a worse place out here. Okay, verse 21. That making man an offender for a word. That's exactly what it is. They try to make a man an offender for a word and lay snare for him that reprove in the gates and turn aside the judge for a thing of not. Okay? Therefore, thus said Yahweh power, redeem Abraham concerning the house of Jacob. Okay? At the end of the day, it's the Messiah that gonna redeem Jacob, okay? Okay? But remember, that making man an offender for a word. They're gonna try to make man offender for a word. See, their own people gonna be offended for a word, but especially the Israelites, they're gonna make a man offended for a word. That's why that's what the persecution gonna be. They're gonna bring a terrible a persecution upon us, man. Okay, and they know it, and that's why they want those laws to pass because they wanna come against us, man. The so-called black Latinos and American, especially those that seek the way of Yahweh power by Hashem Yahushai, they're not gonna spare. Those people are devilish demons, man. See? And let's get to Revelation, man. Revelation 12, verse 12. Revelation 12, verse 12. Therefore rejoice ye heavens, and he that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he know it, that he had but a short time. He so knows he got nothing but a short time. Okay? And that's how they're gonna come down unto us having great wrath because he know that he got a short time, man. And they're gonna do everything in their power to come against us, man. Because it is waiting and prophecy. And with that, I hope you brothers and sisters was edified. I'm gonna close this lesson by giving all praise, all glory, all honor, all blessing, all truth, all wisdom belong to our power, Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Kakodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of great millstone that T-shirts will wear and wool will wear. To the Aquaco Dash and salutation to you, Akim, that's in highways and byways doing this work in truth and sincerity. Shalom, shalom, shalom.